Today we'll be diving in to some of the many pain points operators have out there. In my capacity, I talk with a lot here on the show, but also offline. And, it's challenging time, especially making profit and generating money. And therefore, we thought it would be really beneficial for the audience to get Apron and Henry from Apron on the show to talk about some of the pain points they solve. Besides being the sponsor of the show, they actually have a great product that actually helps solving some really interesting problems, but also understanding a bit by the journey behind Apron and actually why they set out to solve these problems, and actually some of the learnings they have, and actually what you can learn as an operator by implementing some of this, if not the product, the thinking into your business, actually, and thereby, get more profitable and get more times on your hands to make the right decision. Welcome to the show, Henry.
Thank you very much, Michael, for having us.
It's always good to have, I would call you a super fan, Henry, because
yes,
you followed the show.
Yeah. But this is a real treat for me to actually be invited on. I think I started listening to you about 18 months ago. So if you'd said to me back then that in 18 months' time I'd be on the show, I'd be pleased as punch, and I am pleased as punch. So it's a great privilege to just to be a part of it and to talk to your wonderful listeners.
And Henry, talk a bit about, take us back to the beginning. What was actually the led to that Apron was founded, and what did you set out as a team to solve for the hospitality industry?
Look, I mean, Apron was founded in 2022, and Big Bogdan, our CEO and founder, previously he built consumer apps like Revolut, Cash App, and I think it was really when he was at Square, he thought that although personal payments had been transformed with those kind of apps, business payments completely lagged behind, almost up to a decade or two. And so he really started Apron to build consumer-grade money app for the messy world of business payments. And he wanted it just to be simple and powerful for them.
And what was it that made him think about hospitality specifically?
Yeah. It was a hunch, essentially, initially. And based on that hunch, he literally started walking the streets, knocking on doors, primarily with restaurants, and talking to their owners. And it was actually a restaurant, a Bubla, big shouts out. One of them was in so much pain that he actually wanted to invest in Apron in the beginning. And so before the Apron app was given birth to, as it were, he had helped with the finance team of this restaurant, and he was looking at what they were doing and all the kind of heavy lifting that was going on in terms of manual payment runs, payroll payment runs. And that gave him and the team that started Apron a really first-hand insight into what Apron should do and how it can specifically help with restaurants and the hospitality trade.
Yeah, if we dive a bit into those pain points, what is exactly, that actually make the pain point happening? If you take us a bit on the journey, what is it that happening from an operator point of view that actually gives so much pain and actually starts impacting, the loss of time, the loss of maybe profit, or actually credit terms with your supplier because you paid them too late, I guess, as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things. I mean, one of the key things, if you join Apron, it's almost mandatory to watch The Bear and certainly the first season for us to really, really understand what kind of world our customers are living in. And in fact, all the meeting rooms in the head office in London are named after characters in The Bear. I'm currently in Sydney, which is a room that I think everyone goes to with a cross and they want to have a fight. But yeah, it's part of the sort of process of really, really understanding what kind of world, the hecticness of it, the time constraints of it, the hustle and bustle of it, what our customers are living in, what the hospitality trade is really, really like. And there's certainly those sort of 2-3, I would say, pain points that we immediately identify and we hope we can immediately start to solve for people within the hospitality trade. And it is, as you talked about, it's money in, money out, and managing money within the business. So we looked at paying suppliers. So we have a system where you can pay as many suppliers as you like in a single batch card or even bank authorization. You can pay some of those suppliers with credit cards, even if they don't accept credit cards. We also have employee expense cards, or business expense cards, as I like to call them, where you can have that control of the cards, the limits on the cards, the per spend on the cards. You can see how those cards are being spent in real time, and you can earn unlimited rewards on that cards. So if you're spending that money in the business anyway, because the restaurant needs to go out and buy some more wine or some broccoli or whatever, why isn't that money working for your business in and of itself? And then also we've got our own sort of payment portal where you can get business payments into your business very easily, whether it be for catering, for pop-ups, etc., like that. So those are the sort of 2-3 key areas that I think that we knew Apron could be very, very transformative.
Yeah, and I guess when you went in earlier, and I can only imagine this because I've been there myself, often is that challenge of actually making sure that you have the cash to pay your suppliers. That's one thing, but also that I guess that you actually know how to get the money in and who you should be invoicing and so on. So actually there's two sides there to be on top of. And it's lots of small transactions sometimes each ways. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's giving those businesses a one point of contact for business money in, business money out, and having that overview that they can see all those transactions, and that there's an element of automation in the sense that we'll do bulk payments for you, but businesses want to still have that oversight. They want to still see, what's going in and out of their business, but they want to have the tools and the product to do that as efficiently as possible. So we are ultimately there to save them time. And I spoke to you a bit about this earlier, in that what we want is for businesses in the hospitality trade, particularly because we know what it's like, to spend more time in their business than on their business, because they didn't set up that amazing restaurant to be a financial wizard. They set it up to serve amazing food and to give people wonderful hospitality experiences. But the practical side of running a business remains the same. So if we can save them the time that they're not manually inputting stuff, chasing receipts here, doing individual payroll payments, if we can take that time off their hands, it means they're back out of the front of house delivering what they want to deliver in terms of their business.
And what is it that Apron does that, for example, accounting system couldn't do, like Sage or something? What is it that you bolt on that actually makes the operator's life easier?
Well, again, it's bringing that place into one point of contact. So instead of having to have sort of 5-6 different apps out there, one for doing your payroll, one for doing your business expense cards, one for doing your supplier payments, have it all in one single place. And not only have it in a single place, but we will then talk and reconcile all of those transactions with your accountancy app like Xero or QuickBooks. So again, we do all of that back office stuff for you automatically, so that when you do go into your accountancy app, it's all there. All the invoices are matched up. All the expense cards transactions are matched up. And you just click OK and it's reconciled. And even on stuff like the expense cards, we will auto chase any receipts that your staff haven't submitted. So if they go out and they make payment on the Apron business card, we will then notify them on their screen of their phone, take a receipt. If they're naughty and they haven't taken a receipt by the end of the day, we will chase them up again for you to say, you did buy that today, please submit the receipt, and we'll do it at the end of the month as well. So it's, again, saving those business owners immense amounts of time so they can get back to what they want to do and love doing, which is being great hospitality mavericks.
And I guess this is really helpful, especially for a business that's growing fast as well, where, getting the overview and being on top of things is often the challenge both in the scaling and the growth phase, but also for established business. I guess it really can help the finance department. But if you could talk a bit about maybe a use case from a real life use case where it was implemented, you was addressing these pain points. What actually happened internally for these businesses? Because it sounded like there was an operator on board from day one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the examples would be Dom Fernando of Paradise. And he was building this restaurant and he wanted to grow the business, but was experiencing these pinch points that we talked about, time consuming. He was taken away from the business that he was wanting to start and grow because he was having to do the important stuff, but necessary, of doing the back office stuff, the business money in, business money out. And we came in and I think we really streamlined everything for him so that it was all in one place. And he wasn't having to do any of those manually setting up those payments. He wasn't having to chase those receipts as much. And he could just cross off that ever increasing to-do list and have Apron as that one point of contact where he could have that business overview, that it was going to grow with him and was going to solve all these time constraints for him.
Is it a typical smaller businesses that use the platform, or is it a businesses that's growing? What is the perfect user for the platform?
The nice thing about Apron is that it can be one thing for you. It can solve one issue for you, but it can also solve a multitude of issues for you. So you can have one point of contact. So it might just be, hey, you know what, Michael, I need to solve my business expenses. All right. And you can just set up the Apron business expense card free of charge, start using it. That's great. We can also do, as I said, other aspects. If it's just that you want to pay your suppliers in a single batch, we can do that. Or if you want to solve your payroll issues, we can do that. Or if you want to have an invoice capture, we can do that. So we can be a single point of contact for you or multiple solution for you. And we can grow and set up to grow as your business grows. So the platform itself is hugely powerful. I mean, if I was to sit down and do a demo of it, it can take sort of an hour to an hour and a quarter of it. But that doesn't mean that it can't solve a single thing for you very, very quickly. Yeah. So it's almost, what do you want it to do? And it will reflect that back and give you the solution.
What is the typical, Henry, challenge most operators comes with? What we would like to get solved first that really makes a difference in their life?
Time. Absolutely. It's about time, and that's what we're fundamentally set up to do, is to save you time. It's 2025, and you don't have to be doing all these manual processes. Okay, it can be done automatically for you, still give you the oversight and the insight into the money in, money out, managing your business. But in terms of stuff like invoice capture, receipt capture, payments, payroll, all of that can be done very, very quickly and easily through Apron. So it speaks again to that truth of, we want you to be working in your business, not on your business.
And it's very interesting to say that, because often when you talk about accountancy system, bank setup, business owners, especially smaller business owners, get quite scared. What does it actually take for me to do this setup and change? They want the end result. I want the time. I want the overview. Yeah. But how much do they actually need to get involved to get to that magic land? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it literally takes 5 minutes to set up an account on Apron. You go to getapron.com. We're going to ask you a few business details about your business. We're going to put you through something that's called KYB, which is called Know Your Business. We do that because we want to, as you'd expect from an FCA regulated company, we need to be moving your money safely. Okay. Yeah. So we do those checks. Once those checks are done, you're off to the races. You can get going. You can book in a demo with any of us at any time, or we hope that the platform itself is built in a way that is intuitive for people in business. It does it the way that you want it to do it. So most of our customers just get cracking. They get using it. So it's very, very quick and easy to set up. And then within the platform itself, you, the business owner, can set up the variables so that you have the insight and the control that you want to the degree that you do. And to explain it in a singular way would be, say, supplier payments. Okay. So you can have a member of staff who has access to the platform. They can set up a whole list of the suppliers that they want to pay. They send it to you, the business owner, for approval, and that's automated if you want it. The business owner reviews it, changes anything that they might want to change on it, and then they can execute the payment. But they don't have to do all of that front end stuff before just getting an overview of it, approving it, paying it. And then, like I said, if you want to connect us to your accountancy app, you can use Apron without connecting to your accountancy app. But then if you do with QuickBooks or Xero, we'll send that straight back onto the accountancy app. We'll match up all those supplier payments for you. And then all you have to do is go in and click OK, and it's all reconciled for you.
You had some customers, and I've interviewed one of them that's then grown their business. Now he has 3 sites. The episode is going live soon.
Oh, great. That's a treat.
What do you think normally from that journey where you start with Apron and for one site and then you take it through to the 3 sites? What is typical the things that is happening there, or 4 sites or 10 sites? Because I guess that foundation is quite key for many, where they don't have that financial overview. In my experience, when you go in and look at hospitality business, they often do, we say, oh, well, where is cash coming in, where it's going out? And actually that whole P&L control, or control where the money is and who has been paid. And as I mentioned in the beginning, lots of people miss payments and thereby they lose their payment terms, and payment terms that goes from 30 or for 60 days to 30 or 90 days to 60. It's really critical.
Pay an invoice by mistake,
Yeah,
that sort of
exactly.
Thing. Yeah. I mean, we're so in tune without stuff like the duplicates. We will automatically pick up any duplicates that are entered into the Apron system onto their platform, so they don't end up paying those suppliers twice. We give them a breakdown, and we can set up cycles for them where they can have that week by week, or fortnightly by fortnightly, or month by month overview of the cadence of the bills that they need to be paying and are due on that. We will give them the ability to chase up any unreconciled transactions, so anything that's missing the documentation that they need, a corresponding invoice or corresponding receipt, we will automatically chase it up for you. So to sort of come back to the what I think you were asking in terms of the question is, we hope that it's set up and built in a way that, as I said, they can come into Apron to try and solve one problem, and they get such a good experience using it that they think, oh, well, actually, I didn't realize they do bill pay, or I didn't realize they did payroll, or I didn't realize they did expense cards, or I didn't realize they did links getting payments in. And I think that is because really the restaurant owners nowadays, or coming through the ranks, are the people who they grew up with iPhones, and they grew up in their 30s with Instagram, and they know good product. They intrinsically know a good product when it works for them. And we hope that that's Apron to them. That a bit like an easy analogy, a bit like Apple, the iPhone, when it came out, is one of the first, or I think only, piece of hardware that didn't have an instruction manual, because they believed you could give it to an 8-year-old or you could give it to an 8-year-old and they would intuitively know how to use it. And we want that to be the user experience with the great product of Apron, that you can log in, you can sign yourself up, and it works the way you expect it to work. It does the things that you want it to do in the way that you want it to do it. So that even if you come in trying to solve one problem, you'll go, oh my goodness, that was such a good product experience. I'm going to look at solving this issue or this issue, or I'm going to use them for my receipt or invoice capture. I'm going to use them for my bill pay, for my payroll, for my expense cards. So hopefully that's the journey that they experience when they sign up.
Yeah, and I know for myself, you just notch something when you have to pay something sometimes. Even the difficulty is to pay, and then suddenly you can't pay with this card, you can't do, and still exist in this world if you have to pay across borders. they don't accept credit cards. So then you have to move money from your credit card into a bank account to pay them. And you spend so much time on that as a business owner where it takes your brain power away. Or you then give up at some point. I'm going to come back to it. And then you forget to pay on time. Then you lose a bit on the relationship. And yeah.
You can do all of that with Apron. You can, as I said, you can pay international payments. We have very good FX rates in terms of that. You can even make those international payments in and amongst a batch of domestic payments. So you don't even have to flip out of that within Apron. You can choose whether you want to do it by card or by bank. It has that total flexibility and it's all in one place, So we really want to make that, like you say, no one wants to pay bills, right? But we want to make that experience as seamless and as pain-free and as simple as possible for businesses so that they can get on with their day,
Yeah, it's quite interesting because, of course, I've logged on and looked at the system, and it's very intuitive what the system can do, and it's very much in line with Revolut, the like consumer apps, like where you understand straight away how this app works, how it's a benefit for me, and especially if you want, managers in your business to use the tool, it has to be that intuitive because then they're just going to give up if they are having some clunky technology and just going to say, well, it's not really important if you're giving me this tool to do. So why should I do it?
I couldn't agree more. That is absolutely the design and user experience ethos that we have at Apron.
What do you think is gonna happen more in a future kind of way when you talk about the role of finance and money flowing through hospitality business over the next 5 years? What is your outlook? Because I guess you've seen something that needed to be solved. There was a problem here now. But if we're looking at how Apron and the world evolves with AI and technology and the role in hospitality, how do you see the future when it comes to finance function? Because today in very many small businesses, it's a hat the owner goes and put on in his spare time, 10 o'clock at night. In larger businesses, they will have like a finance function. So there are people sitting doing lots of manual things. But what's going to happen as technology evolves?
That's going to stay the same because finance will always be there. Okay. That's just the reality of the business, whether you're a small one man or one woman operation, or you, as you say, you've got your own accounts department or finance department. Finance will always be there. But what we want and believe is that it will all be consolidated into, we hope, a single app, but a couple of apps versus what we have at the moment, which is they might have those 5-7 different apps that they've got to log in. I mean, I'm of an age where I don't want to remember another flipping password, login code, authentic. So they've, at the moment, it's sort of sporadic. They've got all these apps. One of them will do expense cards. One of them will do their payroll for them. One of them will do their invoice capture for them. One of them will do their money in, etc., etc. Why not just bring that into one place where it's your one point of contact, your one-stop shop, where you have that overview of the business, money in, money out, that you can make and execute all those things that you need to do to run a business in a single place. So I think that's in FinTech jargon, it's called a tech stack. And I think what we'll do and hope is that Apron will be a reduction of all those tech stacks into one place.
So what you believe is also going to be less tools to solve financial pains, because again, that gives overview and clarity, because I guess that's what you really want to do is give clarity to the business owner of where the money comes in and out. And actually
in a single point. Yeah, single point of reference. And that's what Apron is. That one place where you can do all the things that you need to do as a business and have that absolute overview of business money in, business money out.
Because I guess getting the overview is like half the time, but again, I guess there's what stress, and the stress, we didn't talk about stress yet, but I was thinking about when you're not in control of this, all the small receipts, all the small bits, there's always the small bits that stresses, because you have to follow up on them, you have to follow up on people, time consuming, and then you run out of time. And that's really where it comes back to again, that one single point. What is it that if you could change, one thing in the industry, approach to financial management, what would that be as we stand today? Because you talk with a lot of people every week, every day about their financial barriers, challenges in running their businesses. If you can take a magic wand and get that away in one go.
Yeah, it's sort of answered by my previous answer in that, at the moment, businesses are sort of suffering from app overload, and sort of having to move around various different apps that aren't talking really to each other. And they've got to do stuff like set up wallets or set up, different accounts for onboarding, or doing a feed between your accounting software and your wallet, or etc. Reconcile with yet another. And it's just wash, rinse, repeat. And it's so bamboozling sometimes and so time consuming sometimes that we just want that to be really simply done in that single point of contact. So yeah, that's our aim, is to just give those business owners the sense of relief that they know the place where they can view all this, manage it, pay it, money in, money out. And it's a single experience that is very intuitive and easy to use. And as you say, they can allow members of their staff to have various different levels of access to Apron, which is nice. So, bookkeepers can come on board, employees can come on board. We give them various different visibilities of what they can see within the platform. But again, it's that sort of community, that place where the business can operate and function really, really well at a single place without this sort of heavy tech stack.
Yeah, and where do you feel that the biggest barriers are for operators when they start this journey? Is it because they are scared of getting it wrong? Is it because they didn't start hospitality, as you said, because they didn't start in a hospitality job because they wanted to manage tax systems and finance and all those things that belongs to a business?
I think change is always a little bit difficult for businesses. And I think that's a totally natural thing in terms of we've always done it this way. So why are we going to change it? And my reply is always sign up to Apron. You get 31 days free, completely free trial. So there's absolutely nothing to lose. Okay. Give it a try. See what it can do. And maybe, just approach it with a single pain point of going, okay, I'm really struggling with this particular aspect of my business. I don't want to change all the way I do my business, but this particular thing is giving me a right pain, and see if we can solve that for you. And I hope and believe that we will. And then you can then start to explore the platform for even more use and, different applications. But you get 31 days just to try it out. And after that, it's not like we automatically default you to a free program, which even has its usage. So at Apron, there is a plan, should we say, and they're monthly, where it's free. And there is actual genuine usability on the free plan. So if you are a startup, a literal startup, a one-person operation, you can use Apron for free. It has that usability. And then obviously, depending on the size of the business, we have different plans. The other thing about the plans is we do not tie you into a long-term subscription. So it's a month-by-month basis. You know the cadence of your business better than anyone. So if you know it's going to be a really busy December, which we've got coming up, then you can be on a more bells and whistle plan. But then if you know in January it's going to be really, really quiet, you can go down to the free plan. So it's got that flexibility for you as a business as well. And it's not priced to be prohibitive. We understand at Apron that small to medium-sized businesses, particularly in the hospitality trade, are the absolutely lifeblood of the British economy. And they're the lifeblood of their community, and their families. And if we can see more of those survive, then that's the best thing that we can possibly do. And so that's a big mission statement for us. And that's why you have free plans that Apron can use. And also you've got plans where multi-site big restaurant operations can use as well. But we know how tough it is out there. And we know how difficult it is, particularly by golly in the restaurant trade. Those first 3 years of trading are absolutely make or break for these businesses. And the margins are insanely tight and your time is insanely constrained. And if we can do something that helps those businesses survive, and I mean that, I'm going to rephrase that. We don't want them to survive. We want them to thrive. And if we can help them thrive, not survive, then that is we believe, a profoundly important thing for the economy, for the neighborhood, for the industry. So yeah, that's mission statement, I would probably say.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting what you're saying there, especially after the pandemic. I think, there's lots of people that has had,
they were on their knees. Yeah.
On their knees, but also there's lots of people that have success, but actually now finding out how hard it is as we are, because we are not out of the, I call it the storm. Yeah.
No.
We started in the storm and then we went through the first, in hurricane, you have the first wave and it was quiet for a bit. Now we're in the next part of hopefully the last part of the hurricane, but actually financial management and literacy is so important, because it's those thin margins that actually make you go through or not. If you're big or small businesses, I think it's across the whole line, and actually having that overview and insight to make better decision. And you can only have that by being out of your business, on your business instead of in it, and taking pictures of receipts and what else you do all the time, or following up on invoicing and so on.
Yeah, and to use that analogy is we were all in the storm of COVID. We were all part of that storm. We were just in different boats. So like you said, some people did well, some people did terribly. But the point of Apron is to make sure that no matter what size that boat is, the rigging is clean. Yeah. The deck is shipshape. The hull is secure and solid. And that's what we hope we can do in terms of that financial overview, that business money in, business money out, saving you that time, not having to do all those manual processes. So, yeah.
And I often say that the right tools and tech systems, and especially financial system, is not to solve all your problems here today. It's actually preparing you for the future and what that brings, because you don't know what the next thing around the corner look like. So the better overview you have when it happens, the quicker you can navigate the ship and send it on a different course, because it will happen. You have to put.
You've got to be agile, and that agility is essential for survival.
What is what's next for Apron coming up now? You build the product, you're out there, you're helping operators, saving time. What is the next big step? What is the vision for Apron as you go into the next couple of years? What is that you want to bring to the market, and what kind of problems would you like to help solve for operators?
I think, we've got a lot of exciting products and announcements to come. I think we're always trying to finesse the experience and trying to make sure that the product that we built is really, really good, really, really helpful. I think an overriding principle I get a sense from Apron is not could we build something, but should we build it? So listening to really what our customers need and want. I think there's always going to be an element of AI involved, and we've developed our own in-house side of things. But again, it's making sure that that's deployed in a way that's genuinely useful for the customers, our clients, because as I said, I don't think you ever want to remove that sense that a business owner doesn't know what's going on and stuff is happening in the background without them having an overview. So we understand that absolute need for the human oversight in business, particularly with, like I said, the money in and the money out. But yeah, we've got a lot of exciting announcements and exciting products to come, but it's all about building a great product, building an intuitive, easy to use, helpful product. So that's the motivation in terms of what's coming next.
And we had another conversation. We also talked about the functionalities and the things you're already doing with the product. Actually, it's getting people to get better at using them, because the better they get at using them, the stronger the foundation gets for them. And therefore, it's easier to build the next thing on, and so on and so on, because often you are too busy launching new things. But actually, how do you actually get the foundation in place and actually get people start using the muscle every day? Yeah. So they really see the impact. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've never worked for a business that is so open and hungry for feedback from their customers, good or bad.
Yeah.
It's a total dialogue. What are we getting right? What are we getting wrong? What do you need us to build? And we'll go out there and build it. If it really speaks to the hospitality trade, then tell us what you're missing and we will look at trying to solve that. So we are, a huge open door in terms of feedback, positive and negative, because that's the only way that you really build and maintain great product.
What is the most significant learning you had over the last 2 years from the seat you're sitting in, looking at the hospitality industry?
I haven't been within the business for very long. I was sort of approached this time last year. I had a lot of experience in my previous job with the hospitality industry. And I think is the question a personal one for what was my biggest learning?
Yeah.
Just how transformative this can be. I had no real interest in joining a FinTech company. I was quite happy in the wine trade. I was in my lane. I got approached out the blue by a headhunter. She said, would you like to do something really different? I was like, well, kind of, what is it? It's a FinTech company. I was like, yeah. She's like, no, go meet them. They sat me down. They showed me what the product, and it was like squeaky eyes, wow, I wish I had this running my business. This really is something that can transform for people's, as I said, ability to survive, but also help them thrive. And so for me, that's the most profound thing and compelling thing that I noticed about Apron is how much it can save businesses their time so that they can get back to doing what they do best, which is run these amazing businesses, So for me, in a personal way, that was my sort of road to Damascus moment. And I think, true story. We did these road shows where we would go around different cities in the UK, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, London. We ended up in London. And we did a day session, and at the end of the day, we were just all sort of milling around in a room, and a lady came up. She had blue hair, and I'll tell you why. I mentioned that, but she came out with her daughter, who must have been, I don't know, late teens or something. Anyway, I knew she wasn't a bookkeeper or an accountant because she had blue hair. Well, there might be sort of blue hair accountants out there, but she came up to me and she said, I just wanted to thank Apron. And I was like, oh okay. Any particular reason why? All very jolly. And she said, yes. About sort of 6 months ago, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I was like, oh my goodness. And my mum died of stage 4 cancer. And she said, for all of their lives, he had run their business. She had done the magnificent thing of creating a home, bringing up their child, but he ran the business. And obviously with this diagnosis, medicine couldn't help him. He was dying and he couldn't run the business. And she had to step in to that hole that was being left. And she was completely sinking, really didn't know what to do. So she phoned up her accountant, who said, well, why don't you check out Apron? So she checked out Apron, and, smart woman, she just logged on herself. She got started with herself. And she said that previously, before Apron, she was spending on average about 4 hours a week doing these business payments.
Half a day.
Half a day a week. All right. Just to keep her head above the water and keep the roof over the family house and food on the table. And post-Apron, she said that now takes her half an hour. And you can bet what she did with the remaining 4 hours was sit by the bed of her dying husband, holding his hand and telling him it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. We've got this. We're on top of it. And that was what really, from my own experience, from my own mother, that is when I knew, wow, this really can transform people's lives and really help. really, really help. And it speaks of that time. What you do with your time is up to you,
Yeah.
but we'll give you the time. But if, walk your dog, phone your mum, read your kid the second bedtime story, or do more business. But that is, I think, what really hit me as the special thing that actually Apron can do. And that's sort of what convinced me most of all to just be such an advocate for this company.
I think it's the thing with time, and as you say, you decide yourself what you spend your time on actually, but often when you get tech, this is my view, and that's all, it's very few, it's in the top end of tech that actually solve things so well that actually you get time, so you don't have to keep on putting more time in to run the tech in a way. And I think that's a really, really interesting, and the story like that really brings it home as well, because the only thing she didn't have was time, and also she needed knowledge, and you both gave her knowledge and time, and therefore she could probably take the right actions in that very, very difficult situation. Great story, Henry. What is the one question, Henry, you wished I asked you? What would it be, and what would your answer be to it?
That I was going to say, how did you get to Apron? But I think I kind of answered it just in the last one. But yeah, I mean, as I said, it's been an incredible journey for me inside this amazing business. And let's be absolutely frank, this business is built, designed, created, compliance, support, HR, all these amazing men and women behind. I'm just a guy they kind of wheel out occasionally to talk about it because I'm so enthusiastic about it. But I guess the question is, how did I get to here from where I was in the fine wine trade? But I've kind of answered it in the previous answer. It was all out of the blue. It wasn't what I was expecting. If you'd said to me a year ago I'd be working in a financial tech company, I would have said, yeah, right. But it's been a great privilege to work with so many amazing men and women who've built this. And I just could see the absolute transformative nature of what it can do. And they got me hook, line and sinker. So it was previously answered, I guess.
Where should...
Oh, I know another one.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I used to be in the wine trade. So what wine am I going to have at Christmas lunch?
Well, that's a very good one. And now you have to listen, guys, because somebody knows this wine.
I think obviously budget dependent for everybody, but I think you always start with something sparkling, something with a bit of effervescence, a bit of fizz. I think for my main, I'm not a massive turkey guy, but we always have turkey. I much prefer. You're Danish, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm Danish. Yeah,
like easy, aren't they, over in Denmark?
It's duck. And it's duck for Christmas Eve. Yeah,
and you have it on Christmas Eve. Yeah. So I do prefer a goose or a duck, and I would go personally for a Pinot Noir because I think it's got that nice lightness that goes with the white meat, but still with good flavor. If I'm going to blow the budget, it's got to be Burgundy, and I would probably go for one of the top appellations in Burgundy for the red, and for the white, I do love a German Riesling. I think it's a massively underappreciated wine in terms of the quality for the cost. So yeah, I think I'm going to go something sparkling, a beautiful Pinot Noir from Burgundy, and a German Riesling. What about you?
This year, I'm not going to be in control. I just have to show up this year, but I would definitely prefer, if we're having duck, I would probably prefer something Italian. And then what we had last year was Nero di Vaplo, I think it's called. And that worked really well with the duck in a way. So it depends. But the turkey, I get it when I'm with my English family. I'm actually having Christmas this year with my English family. And there's always, as you said, something sparkly. And then there's something that works really well with the turkey. Probably a lighter red wine.
Yeah.
than but I like the Italian one, so I will always go for
They do.
more of Italian ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I do love an Italian wine as well. Absolutely. Yeah.
Where can people connect with you, Henry, or the Apron team if they want to get, control of where their money comes in and out? So generate profit and cash. Where is the best place to go?
So everything that I talked about and a complete, overview of everything that we do is at getapron.com. But any of your wonderful listeners, they can email me directly at henry@getapron.com. I'd happily do a demonstration for them, whether it's one-on-one, part of our team. We understand that might be a change, so there's no rush on this. When you're ready, come to us. We will take as long as it takes for you to get this right, to make sure it's right for your business. We also have a dedicated YouTube channel that has sort of bite-sized videos of what the platform does. So people can have a little look at those in a visual way, show, don't tell kind of way. But yeah, please get in touch with getapron.com, and anyone who's listening is more than welcome to reach out to me directly. It'd be an absolute pleasure to show them what we do. And I hope that after the craziness of Christmas and all the wonderful hospitality that your listeners give to other people in the lead up to Christmas, that they have a really wonderful Christmas day and they open a real banger of a wine to relax with their family and their loved ones.
Great. Thank you so much, Henry, for coming on and sharing the story and the vision of Apron, of sending you and the team power and energy for the time ahead. And also lots of good luck helping lots of operators unlocking their financial potential.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.